And so we was talking about the Diddy. Let's get in the Diddler's ex-girlfriend's ex-husband, Ben Affleck. Well, there's two stories on him. One, he was talking about Batman and why he didn't think that the Snyderverse Batman, and I know the Snyderverse fans, y'all about to be all upset with what he said, but look, he was on the set, he was doing the movies. I think he has more of a say-so than y'all do, with being in y'all feelings about these Snyderverse Batman films. So we got that, and then we'll get into the Jennifer Lopez thing of it all, and why he's saying that, why he don't think their marriage worked. And his answer is basically what I've been saying this whole time. So, and I can't believe this. It's been 9 years since Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. Where the hell did the time go? So, they said on the ninth anniversary of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice release, Ben Affleck has reflected on his time as the Dark Knight and the moment he realized they made a mistake with the hero's portrayal. So, Ben recently did GQ magazine. He did a cover story. He did a cover story for GQ magazine, I should say, where he continued to reflect on what went wrong with his run as Batman in Zack Snyder's DC universe. The Oscar winner debuted as the Dark Knight, as you know, in 2016's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and reprised the superhero in films such as Justice League and The Flash. He told the LA Times in 2022 that playing Batman was awful and the worst experience. Affleck is now opening up more about why. I'm like, Jesus, was it because there was too many people meddling in the background? I mean, I think that was the overall headache that everybody was getting, that everybody wasn't on the same page. Even Zack Snyder was getting pissed off because it was too many people meddling in the source over there and what he was trying to do. So he said there are a number of reasons why that was a really excruciating experience. And they don't all have to do with the simple dynamic of, say, being in a superhero movie or whatever. I'm not interested in going down that particular genre again, not because of that bad experience, but just I've lost interest in what was of interest about it to me. But I certainly wouldn't want to replicate an experience like that. A lot of it was misalignment of agendas, understandings, expectations. And also, by the way, I wasn't bringing anything particularly wonderful to that equation at the time either. I had my own failings, significant failings in that process at that time. And I'm sitting there like, sir, what the hell are you talking about? Because this sounds like a bunch of damn word salad. Can you get to the point, please? So then he goes on to say the following as I scroll to the next picture. Wait, hold on now, because don't play with me now, but I'm getting distracted. And oh well, I guess this is gonna stay there then because the pictures give me itches. But anyway, so it says, I mean, my failings as an actor, you can watch the various movies and judge. You heard people make comments about Ben Affleck's acting, but I feel like he goes based off of his mood. I don't mind Ben Affleck as an actor. I actually think he's a good actor, but I think like a lot of things that may be going on in his personal life does affect his performance in a lot of ways. He don't know how to separate the two. He said, but more of my feelings of in terms of why I had a bad experience, part of it is that what I was bringing to work every day was a lot of unhappiness. So I wasn't bringing a lot of positive energy to the equation. I didn't cause problems, but I came in and did my job and I went home. But you've got to do a little bit better than that. So I guess what it was that he was being a little antisocial and he was keeping to himself in regards to a lot of situations because he was dealing with a lot at home. Now I'm trying to remember at the time, was he married to Jennifer Garner when it was 9 years ago? I don't know if he was with her, or he was probably going through a lot of personal endeavors and stuff that was going on with him and his sobriety and I know all the other stuff. So that could have been a lot of what he was dealing with in his personal life. So he also said, I want to put together partnerships of filmmakers and cast and a studio apparatus that's aligned where precisely that kind of misalignment doesn't happen and you have a much better work experience. Now, while the actor has good moments on set and like creatively his approach to Batman as a sort of older, broken, damaged Bruce Wayne, a clash started to brew over his Dark Knight and the larger DC universe being too adult. He said what happened was it started to skew too old for a big part of the audience. Like, even my own son at the time was too scared to watch the movie. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, we have a problem. Then I think that's when you have a filmmaker that wanted to continue down that road and a studio that wanted to recapture all the younger audience at cross purposes. Then you have two entities, two people really wanted to do something different, and that's a really bad recipe. So basically, what he's saying is that, yeah, Zack Snyder wanted to kind of make it like, oh, this is old man Batman, and a lot of the characters did skew older. When you look at Henry Cavill is somebody who is now he's 40. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is in her 30s, late 30s. I think she's pushing 42. And then you look at, I think like the youngest person that was probably in that movie was Ezra Miller with the Flash. Everybody did skew her kind of older. And it's like, yeah, when you are doing superhero franchise and you have a studio that's like, and I'm trying to remember, there was a story that came out that said that, yeah, we're trying to hit all the demographics when it comes to, superhero films. You want to get the old people, you want to get the older men, the older women, the younger men, the younger women. You want to get the little kids, you want to get this, you want to get that. You want to hit all the demographics. And usually when it comes to stuff like that, you can't really get everybody in butts and seats. But I get when you're spending 300 to 400 million dollars on a budget for a superhero movie, you want to be able to recoup that, and you want to be able to bring in a billion. You want to have that $1 billion franchise, which is not guaranteed. So I totally see like why they were saying with that. Where even was like little kids was like, I don't want to watch this movie. First of all, it feels like it is skewering too old in regards of the situation, and I don't know if I want to sit up in here and watch a 50-year-old Batman. So I can see why in the direction now with when you have Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson is in his 30s. However, he did say that we need to get the wit cracking on this Batman too, because I'll be 40 by the time I think we're going to start filming it. So, Matt Reeves, you are taking stop dragging your feet and get this movie done. Because the same fears that Ben Affleck was bringing up, you don't want that to come up in the Battinson verse. What's happening with that? So, I don't necessarily know where James Gunn is going to be going. Like, are you trying to skew a younger with the Brave and the Bold in regards of like, because that's the other Batman that has to happen that Andy Muschietti is directing. So that's what he said basically on that. But I could totally understand. It's like, yeah, they all had different ideas. Is that it started skewing too old for a big part of the audience, and that you had a filmmaker that wanted to go down that road, and the studio basically wanted to go and recapture the younger audience. But it was just like once you went in and you had this overall tone and idea, and it was just like maybe the studio didn't have an idea at first. They had one idea in the beginning, it wasn't going the way they wanted it, then they wanted to switch it up. But it was like you already created this time frame, this tone, this overall style, and it's like you got to see it through. Now y'all can't just backpedal. Another thing that I think that bothered me about this, the way that y'all brought Batman in, you had him come in Batman v Superman, and then you had him also part of Justice League. Ben Affleck never got his own solo Batman film, and I felt like they were that Snyderverse was trying to play catch up by putting together a team of superheroes rather than building it from the ground up like Kevin Feige did with the MCU, where it's like y'all took your time. We got used to a lot of these superheroes in their own way, where it's like Captain America, Thor, you know, Iron Man, all these other people had their own films first before they came together and teamed up as the Avengers. Then you would get like your little side characters like Black Widow and Hawkeye and all these other people and Incredible Hulk. You would get all these side characters that we would see sprinkled throughout the MCU, but then eventually they would all come together and then form, the Avengers. Y'all didn't do that with Justice League. Y'all just kind of threw them all together and it's like, okay, you're supposed to sell us on this movie. And nobody bought into the whole Justice League thing. Hence why everybody was demanding a Snyder cut. And then we had to do a whole 4-hour version of the film. But y'all had to really take the time and it felt more like a series rather than a one big movie. So that was their fault. They were busy trying to play catch up with the MCU, but they had a years head start before DC EU got to where they are. So hopefully that they learn their mistakes over there at the DCU, which it is now, and you're not gonna You're going to take your time, you're going to build this franchise, you're going to build these movies, and then eventually, if we do get another Justice League or another iteration of it, that these people have earned that spot to get to that place. But I say, you know what, even though it is what it is, I like Ben Affleck as Batfleck, even though I feel like they did him dirty in those movies. And I was really looking forward to that solo Batman movie that he wrote and was going to direct. And it was supposed to be him in it. And then it was supposed to be Deathstroke was supposed to be, and Joe Manganiello was supposed to play Deathstroke. And he was teased in the previous movies. They're supposed to kind of have their own little movie. And I was really looking forward to seeing that film. But it's like Batwoman, it'll never see the light of day. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story about Ben Affleck saying why he has completely lost interest in superhero movies? I just feel like, you know what? He's been in two superhero movies and he's been done dirty by both. First, it was Daredevil, which we all know the show over on Disney Plus, formerly Netflix and now Disney Plus, is way better than the movie that we had. Even the Bullseye, and although I do like Colin Farrell, the Bullseye on the TV show is way better than his Bullseye. But then again, all the characters is kind of better than the characters that was in those movies. And then y'all did him dirty again with Batman. So I can see what his overall frustration is in regards of why he don't want to do superhero movies anymore, because y'all keep doing him dirty every time he signs on the new one. So I want to hear from you all and what you thought, his overall thoughts. Do you agree with what he had to say in regards to his experience of playing Batman and the different that how they weren't on the same page over at the DCEU at the time when he was doing it? So whatever your thoughts are on that, let me know in the comments down below.